What's going on, peeps? Joshua DaCosta here, back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to give you the exact structure that works for busy adults working in the chaos that is 2026. Okay, cool. So the reason being, I believe in having this sort of structure is because most people go in this world thinking that they need to be motivated to get results. I'm really sorry, I'm out of breath. It's because I ran upstairs. My dog was trying to break down the door, and essentially, I can't have that. I'm 2 videos in and I can't have this like messy kind of situation. I'm an amateur at it as it is going into this, right? So wanted to make sure that things are a little bit like set to begin with. But anyway, yeah, motivation. People think that they need to rely on motivation in order to get success in anything, right? But we know that the most successful people in this world, whether they are born with luck, whether they're lucky through their own hard work or anything like that, they know one true thing, and that is making sure that they actually have systems that work for them and not against them. And yet we live in a world where, and especially in fitness, where we get this so wrong. People that live full time, working full time, they are parents themselves, they are juggling responsibilities left, right, and center, and yet they still try to do things like they were back in their 20s. And that's not the case. It's not going to be the case for you either. So you need to figure out, instead of focusing on like what motivates you to do something that you were able to do when you're in your teens or in your 20s, you need to figure out what actually motivates you to get results long term. And in essence, I want you to think about the cycle. There is a cycle that we know that is, you are motivated to do something, then you will take action, and then you will get results. What I tell my one-to-one clients, what I tell my fitness clients is that actually you need to flip it a little bit. Make sure that you take blind action first. When I say blind action, you need to know what you're doing, of course, but I'll get into that in a second. Then you need to get results, and then you will be motivated. And then you can repeat that cycle. Because with the action, taking action is probably the first step that most people need to take. Then, by taking that action, provided that it's the right action, they will get the results. And that result that they get will then inspire them to continue on in that journey. But with the amount of information out there that is confusing for a lot of individuals, they don't know where to start, they don't know where to begin. So essentially, this is the structure that I give my clients every single time when it comes to working on their fitness and their health and goals. Okay, so first things first, it's actually just understanding that motivation is an emotional thing. So whilst I don't necessarily dismiss it, I want you to actually, what's the word? I can't even say it. It's going to something compartmentalize. If you could say that in the comments, that actual word, if you even know what I'm talking about, then I got you. But essentially, what you want to do is make sure like you park it. You park it to the one side, knowing that it's a tool that will come in and go at the same time because it comes in waves, but use it as a tool. Okay. The second part is making sure that you actually remove things that is disrupting your flow. Okay. And I haven't spoken about your training plan or nutrition plan or anything like that yet. I'm talking about your lifestyle. I'm talking about your environment to make sure that you are set up for success. Like I said, going back to systems. Okay. The thing that you need to do is make sure that if you are in a system or in an environment that is not conducive towards you actually getting results, then you need to address that first. Most people that I speak to on a one-to-one basis, they look at their calendar and think, I've got so much things going on. I've got this to do, I've got this to do, I've got this to do. But funny enough, they actually are actioning those sort of things, or they're doing things that they have to do. But when was the last time they actually booked in an appointment for themselves that wasn't to go to work, to do this for the kids, to do go to the dentist or go to the doctors, or even do their grocery shopping? When was the last time that you actually booked something for yourself that, you know what, I'm actually going to book times that I'm going to train. I'm going to book times that I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to book times that I'm going to do my meal prep. These things is actually about creating and resetting your environment for success. When was the last time you did a food clear out of foods that these are either trigger foods, or they're foods that just are in the house for comfort and they're not actually really conducive towards the results that we get. I'm hoping I'm using conducive, the word conducive right. conductive, maybe. um, but yeah, essentially, you want to make sure that you park motivation as a tool so that you can rely on it from time and time again, but not always be forever reliant on it. But then you want to look at your surroundings, your systems around you, and make sure that you audit that first after that. Then I want you to focus on the common thing, and I mentioned this in the video before. If you haven't seen the video before, be sure to give it a watch, give it a like as well, and give this video a like and a subscribe. But if you separate your weeks into 3 scenarios, now I like ABC weeks. You can call it great, good, bad, or great, good, okay. It doesn't matter how you kind of sieve it. You can make it maybe 1, 2, 3. But I always think, try to think, what is your A game? What is your ideal week? What would your A game week look like? This is when everything is perfect. When you actually look at your systems, you look at your calendar, you look at everything booked in, you've got everything pre-planned out. Okay, so then you actually go, how can I actually plan my entire week in an A game scenario? Now, like that's probably the easiest one to do because you can put everything in an ideal world situation and make sure that everything's going for you swimmingly, right? And then you need a backup to that. You need a B plan week. Okay. So the B plan week would be basically, okay, how can I get 70% or 80% of this done? If you scheduled yourself and your A game week to do 3 training sessions a week, to get your meal prep in for 2 times a week, to cook your meals and prep all your meals, to get your steps in, to go to sleep at certain times, etc. Okay, that's going to be your A game. That's a pretty strong A game for most of you. If you're able to then go, okay, B game week, because there's a recital somewhere, there's some family plans that come up, or like some friends have come over unexpected and we're having an impromptu dinner or, meal out or something like that. Then you kind of go through, okay, well, how can you still show up at least 80% of that time to make sure that you are still taking action, you're still getting results, and that's going to enable you to still be motivated to continue getting the results as well. Then there is the C week, and this is what I know as survival mode. But for most of you, especially when you're in your 30s and above, like myself, you are going to be in survival mode more times than not. And I mean that. I really, truly mean that. The survival mode will vary from weeks to weeks, months to months, years to years. But inevitably, the longer that you are on this world, the more responsibilities you will gain responsibility of, and essentially you will be multitasking more as you age. Right, until there's a point where you're getting closer to maybe retirement or the kids have left home. So maybe potentially looking at your 50s, 55 plus age, right? The pivotal time between 30 to 50, that's when you're going to be at your most busy. It's going to be the times when you're not necessarily going to see your friends that much because you're too busy working, or you are seeing friends because they're thankfully close by and they're really close friends, lucky. But at the same time, you'll be parenting your parents. Sometimes your parents might be parenting their parents and therefore you're parenting them, and there's this vicious cycle. I'm in that situation myself at the moment where my elderly family, they're not doing very well, and therefore my mum and my other members of the family are taking the strain onto that. But in return, that's taking strain onto me, and not in a fault of my own or anything like that, or do I bemoan that? But it is genuinely a difference between, me not having that responsibility like 10 years ago when I was in my 20s to now I'm in my 30s. I've got my son, I've got my business that I work full time, and I'm also helping my mum and my family with that kind of stuff as well. And then there's still external stuff that you have to deal with. So survival mode is definitely a thing, right? And you need your C game week to have still a plan that is going to enable you to still take action, get results, and still be motivated. So if B game week was, say, 70%, how can you make C game week 60, 50%, but no less than that? And sometimes it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but you still want to mentally be tied into the game, to be locked into C game, so that you are still committed to taking action, getting results, and being motivated on a regular basis. Because if you don't do that and you just go, you quit when A game week is not going perfect, then that's why you'll always be in this yo-yo cycle, this yo-yo pattern of dieting starts on Monday, training routine will start when I have a clear path ahead of me. These are the things that you need to actually start thinking about to enable you to actually stick to the plan on a regular basis. Okay. So that's A game week, B game week, C game week, or perfect, good, not bad. Just frame it in a way that makes sense to you so that you can never be in a failure option. Failure is never an option. And for most people, unless you are severely injured or severely unwell, or the situation is really chronic and bad, catastrophic, right? Very rarely there's an excuse for you to fall off your training plan or fall off your fitness journey and health journey. Okay. Everyone can neglect themselves a little bit, but the reality is that if you have a mental kind of attitude towards it, a positive mental attitude towards these things, you will be able to stick to your things long term. And most of the time, especially as you age, your C game and B game weeks are going to be going to become your new A game. So yeah, with that as well, you want to think about what is the minimum that I can do that's going to get the maximum results. So when you are planning your A game week, I still want you to think minimally. I still want you to think, okay, well, typically I can train, say, 5 days per week. Okay, if I got a client that spoke to me and said to Josh, I train 5 days per week, but I can't be consistent. Okay, cool. So why don't you train 3 days a week and focus your energy on being consistent with those 3 days in general as an A game, but then also use that as an opportunity to learn about training with progressive overload. Use that as an opportunity to be present with your family and work. Use that as an opportunity to get more steps in or do your meal prep, because that's where a lot of people screw up. It's not necessarily the training. That's actually the easy bit. It's the nutrition side of things that scuppers them. So there's plenty of time. And I always say, if you can allow yourself to commit to this whole fitness thing, including watching this video and giving me a subscribe, but and maybe joining my one-to-one team, etc. But in terms of everything else, you can do a heck of a lot if you just commit to 3 to 5 hours per week, committing to planning your day, planning your nutrition, actually getting training done, not 3 to 5 hours of pure training. I'm not mentioning that yet. Getting steps in. You can fit all those in within 3 to 5 hours per week, sometimes 5 to 6 hours per week. But realistically, if you can split that up over the course of your entire week, you can be far more productive. And that's why I go to the start of auditing your time and making sure that your schedule's in place. But I want you to think minimally. I want you to think, what can I do minimum to get the best results possible? Okay. If you do that, then you'll be absolutely fine with regards to making sure that you are planning everything. Okay. Now, this is still a lot to think about right at first. And that's why I want you to watch this video and maybe share this video, watch it again so that you can really absorb what it is that I'm talking about. But the things that I want to hammer home is you need to take action first. The action isn't about the actual doing physically. The action comes in the planning. Plan to succeed first with regards to everything. So if you watch this video, go through it methodically, you actually audit your time, audit your calendar, plan in the things that you're going to do, plan in when it's going to be your A game week, what your B game week looks like, what your C game week looks like. So you have flashcards as to what you can do for different situations. Eventually, the more you practice doing that over time, over four weeks, over 8 weeks, etc., you will be able to actually understand how flexible you need to be. Okay. I never once mentioned the actual mechanics of your training plan. I never once mentioned the science behind calories and macros and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about how can you just get your shit together, basically, and still be able to be successful throughout. Okay. If you follow that system and you follow that structure, then you'll be absolutely fine. Now, one extra thing that I wanted to talk to you about is actually... Yes, Felix? Yes, I will come and play Pokemon downstairs, don't worry. I'll be 10 more minutes, okay? 5 more minutes. So, that's my son. He's actually off school because there's teacher strikes and I'm doing this video. Lo and behold, right? The beauty of working from home. But at the same time, this fits into exactly what I'm going to talk about. I'm a parent, and most of the time, you're juggling responsibilities throughout the weeks, and throughout the weeks, each week can be completely different. But essentially, you can like the evenings is going to be something that is really, really difficult for most parents to manage. And I'm speaking specifically to parents because the work doesn't end when work ends. The work ends when your child goes to sleep, and then you still got work to do in terms of being a good partner, or if you're a single parent, just being good to yourself as well. But this is where decision fatigue creeps in, and most people fail in the evening when it comes to their fitness. It's not necessarily the action that they take during the day. It's usually the end of the day where decision fatigue is the thing. They're fatiguing in general, and 65% of your decisions, the quality of your decisions goes down by 65% by the end of the day. And that's a huge thing. So I want you to think, how can I have the framework of everything that we've spoken about, but also think about, firm things that is going to enable you to be successful. Okay. So this is where I want your evenings to be somewhat predictable. You right, dude? 5 more, please. Promise, 5 more minutes. Okay, but 5 more, please. 5 more minutes? It's okay. I'm just doing one video. Can you say hello to the camera? Okay. Say hello. Hi, camera. Hi, camera. This is my son, Felix. He wants to play. We've got a day off school. And I promise, this is about 20 minutes. I'm going to finish in 5 more minutes. And then we are going to play, okay? I know. Play in your room for 5 more minutes and then I'll be with you, okay? Oh, I promise I'll be there, mate. I promise. I pinky swear. All right. I won't be longer now. I best wrap this up real quick. But the most important thing is that make sure that your evenings are predictable, making sure that you have the same dinner framework most nights. Keep your meals super repeatable, but also enjoyable at the same time. Cut off a time for food and snacking. Most of my clients, they have a firm cut-off time because most of the time they're parents themselves. They know that they're struggling with that. If you if you are not having a wind down routine, do have that. If that is with your partner and it's shared, be sure to do that as well. And then just have a gentle plan for the next day ahead. Because like I said, your evening is where most people will fail with your fitness plan. And if you don't do that, then essentially you will do all the good stuff that you do in the morning. It is 5 minutes. I know. Do you want to wrap up the video with me? No, thanks. No? I had one. Oh, you had one. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna finish this video right now with a CTA. Please give this video a like. Say hello to my son for me. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. If you want any free resources, check the links below. If you are interested in working with me, DM me JDCF one-to-one for one-to-one coaching. If you want to join the 8-week challenge, then join the priority list on that. And there's more information for that. Peace out. Done. We're done.